Ah, hope you can hear me. Hope you all can see me and hear me. If you can see and hear me, please type in the comment section so they can be informed. The live will start at 9 p.m. Okay, so let's wait till that time. Just a moment, we'll come back soon. Let me set up some timers. Hope all can hear me clearly. Is my voice clear? Please type in the chat box so that I can be informed. So come on to the main topic, the Redmi Note 8 or the review in this live show. The Xiaomi has launched the Redmi Note 8 with 4 rear cameras starting the price something like 10,000 rupees, which is like 500 dirhams. Um, Over here, this is the Redmi Note 8, the bottom end of the smartphone market is crammed with the models and variants of them. In many cases, with only very minor difference between just in order to cater the people with limited budget and specific requirements. A case in point is Xiaomi, which has launched well over 1,000 options, price below rupees 15,000 or 750 dirhams so far this year. No matter whether you prioritize a CPU power, RAM and storage, camera function features, or battery life, Xiaomi wants to put enough options in front of the buyers so that they won't be even have to look at what the competition has to offer. Still, it's a tough balancing act. This is a review of all new Redmi Note 8 coming up. The Redmi Note 8, which is a company, just surprised the launch alongside the Redmi Note 8 Pro. This the reviews has been designed to hit the critical rupees 10,000, which is 20 200 500 dirhams. Xiaomi has stated very clearly that it could be in this phone less expensive, but it didn't want to compromise on which means its strategies more than one price segments. We are reviewing the high price version, but we're still going to consider how both options are equipped to appeal their respective target audience. And the review of Redmi Note 8 is coming up. After the timer, the continuation of reviews will be coming. The main points of the review is typed already in the descriptions in of the um, live streams. Redmi Note 8 design. If you're hoping that the Redmi Note 8 would be more affordable version of this slick of the Redmi Note 8 Pro, you will be a little disappointed. From the front, this phone is much more like what we see recently launched Redmi 8 reviews and the Redmi 8A, including a channel that the thick enough for the brand logo. It's a fairly ordinary looking 2019 budget phone um, with 6.3 inches screen that covers nearly all the front and bottom drop notch at the top. There's a tiny white notification LED above the screen where Xiaomi has added a touch of differentiation here in the form of a highlight color running around the edges of the front glass. Our review unit is the Neptune Blue version, and also it's a blue streak amongst it a halo, and it's running down the sides and across the bottom. We don't really like this because it's like quite cheesy. It's also distracting when trying to enjoy full screen content. We hope the moonlight white and space black versions are more subtle. The rear of the phone is also nothing like the Redmi Note 8 Pro and Redmi 8 siblings. The camera stripe is one of the corner rather than the center, and it sticks one out quite a bit. This phone will rock awkwardly when lying flat on a table. The rim of the camera bump is also relatively rough. Xiaomi has gone with the Gorilla Glass on the front and back of the phone, and both have the greenish blue at the top fading into purple lower down. It will be a challenge to keep this finish free of the smudges and front fingerprints. Power button and the fingerprint sensors are easy to enough to reach, but the volume buttons are a bit too high. You get a USB Type C port, 3.5 audio jack, then a single speaker on the bottom. There's an infrared emitter on the top, and dual SIM plus. The micro SD card tray is on the left, and thankfully the glass bag is in a slippery, and we found it relatively the easy to live with and use this phone. Screen is big, and but reaching all corners with one thumb wasn't too difficult. The camera bump was much less in the way, and we used it plastic cover that included in the box. Xiaomi says that the P2i cotton to make this phone splash proof, which is nice to have. Overall, the Redmi Note 8 feels very well built, but there's nothing new or interesting about in the terms of design. Redmi Note 8 specification and the softwares. We start the Qualcomm Snapdragon 665 processor, which also powers the sub rupees 10,000 Realm 5 and even more affordable Vivo's U10s. This is an update to the popular Snapdragon 660 and it's claimed to be more power efficient. It features the same arrangement of four processors cores and four efficiency cores, as well as the improved integrated graphics. Xiaomi undercuts its competition in the terms of other specifications. So the base variant has the 4G GB of RAMs with 64 GB of storage, and the cost is rupees 10,500 dirhams, while the Realm 5 and Vivo U10 is rupees 10,000. So it's same. You also get the Redmi Note 8 with 6 GB of RAM with 128 GB of storage with 1299 rupees, which is 13,000. And this is variant we are reviewing. It's compared with the likes of the Samsung Galaxy M30, Vivo 21 Pro, and Realm 3 Pro. Screen measures 6.3 inches of Full HD plus 1080p into 2280 resolution, which is good to see at the result. 10,000 rupees, 500 dirhams at the price point. The IPS panel, but its color productions is only rated at 84% of the NTC SC. Color gamuts is also certified by TUV online for blue light reductions when using its reading mode. Other noteworthy specifications include the 4000 mAh batteries, support for 18-watt fast charger, the 18-watt charger is included in the box, Bluetooth 5 and Wi-Fi 802.11 AC supports. Just check the rating mode over um here on the top left you have. Let's press it out, then it will be like the yellow screen. As you can see, it's like yellowish. Coming, are you really? It was running MIUI 10.3 1.1, running on the Android 9 with the September 2019 security patch. You can read about it more in the Redmi sites or Xiaomi sites. Since nothing much is different here, there's a lot of preloaded bloatware. Most of them can be uninstalled. You can do it live with infamous swampy notification and ads unless you carefully tweak with the permissions for certain troublesome apps such as the Jet App Store and MIUI browsers. Redmi Note 8 performance and the battery life. Redmi Note 8 is a pleasant enough phone to use. The Full HD Plus screen is a crisp and bright, though not especially vibrant. Um, we have finished 20 minutes. Now it's 23 minutes. Then coming to back to the reviews, it's good for the entertainment, and most people won't find anything to complain about it, especially considering the price of this phone. For the design, there's a blue accent around the sides and bottom of the display glass. Coming to back to the performance and the battery life, um, the blue trim around the front of the phone wasn't as distracting as we were feared. And just like the three notches we found used to it in the time, Xiaomi has also done a good job with single speakers. Also, there's no real bass to the sound, voices, and dialogue in videos came out of the crisp and distinct. Fingerprint and face recognitions were both quick. My UI ran smoothly and we didn't feel any hiccups even when multitasking. Should be noted again that we are using higher the higher end version of the phones, which is 30% more expensive than the base variant. We think that this is even with 4 GB of RAM, the experience should be good enough for most people's performance as measured by our benchmarks test, which was pretty much in line with what we expected. Scores of 1,69,832 in ANTUTU, as well as 314 and 1327 in Geekbench. Five single core T-Rex and car chase test ran at the 33 FPS and 6.3 FPS respectively, which was disappointing. But we have seen much better than the Vivo U10, which has the same processor but a lower resolution screens. PUBG Mobile ran at the low preset and the graphics quality wasn't great, but the game ran perfectly smoothly. Gameplay didn't suffer when we raised the quality manually, but the rear of this phone did get better pretty even after just one match. As for 9 game, Legends was a little laggy in the menus, and there was stuttering in races. We have a short break going there and coming back. Coming back to the reviews, the battery is enough to get you throughout full workday when we didn't have to worry about the running out of the battery power. After playing games, streaming videos, and taking a lot of photo over the course of a day, we are left with about 25% by the time we were ready to plug this phone in at night. Our HD video level ran for the 13 hours at 10 minutes, which was also pretty good. 18-watt charger took the Redmi Note 8 from 0 to 37% in half an hour and 81% in 1 hour. Coming to the last one, the Redmi Note 8 camera qualities and the camera is one of the best selling points of the Redmi Note 8. It has the mirror-like finish with the color gradients. It's a rear quad camera setup. The main one is the 48 megapixel. Then we have 8 megapixel and 2 megapixel, two of macro and megapixel depth sensors. I mean, your camera app is fairly simple but not have the same quirks. The way to switch between the cameras is especially intuitive. There are three dots above the shutter button, which is corresponding at the 0.6x, 1x, and 2x. As you might have guessed, the first two switch between the wide angle and primary cameras, but 2x just as a digital zoom. If you want to use a macro camera, there's a separate toggle over the viewfinder where the flash and HDR controls are there. We struggle a little bit with the locking focus in low light and when you are using the macro camera on the Redmi Note 8. We often have to tap the screen to get the Redmi Note 8 to lock on what we wanted. Another odd issue was the over aggressive pocket mode, which resulted in the screen locking up very often when we had held the phone in landscape to take a photo because the proximity sensor was covered. When it comes to photo quality, though, we are very impressed overall. The primary 48 megapixel camera on the Redmi Note 8 gave us crisp bright shots with good detail, subjects at distant tended to be greener that would be have light, but close-ups came out looking great. Colors were good and there was some nice natural depth of fields. Um, Details were sometimes lost when showing brightly colored objects or in the scenes with contrasting backgrounds. Shots taken with the wide-angle camera on the Redmi Note 8 tended to suffer in the terms of clarity and exposure when Note balance as well. But there was not little and warping at the edges of the frames of the camera. Other than the issue with the autofocus detection, we found that our low light shots are somewhat blotchy and noisy, and there could be some motion blur if you weren't where still quality was decent but nothing to get excited about it. Again, the wide angle camera produced far less detail. The macro camera on the Redmi Note 8 can be fun to use and lends itself to creative framing. We managed to get some interesting perspective. The depth of the producers can be subject stand out. but there are in captures in very high qualities where we experiment that while before figuring out how we needed to stand from our subject, and we found it hard to capture anything that was moving. Um, Okay, so as for the video, we found that Redmi Note 8 managed decent quality at 1080p, but colors were pretty overblown at 4K. There was also little to no evidence of stabilization, which limits usabilities. At night, video quality was especially not as good. And for a test, just check the camera. I'm just yes. Is it good? The Redmi Note 8 has a 13 megapixel. Felt that our skin texture has been smoother, softened too much, while the background was crispy and stole attention. Beautifications has to be turned off manually where a multi-tap process. At night, selfie cameras were grainy and blurry. Coming to my verdict before that, let's take a short break. Going there and coming back. And coming to the ports, there is USB Type-C port, 3.5 mm audio socket, and a speaker on the bottoms. Coming to my verdict, we are more positive about the Redmi Note 8 base variants fares against the competitions, and the company has chosen a specification wisely. When we could pick up the Realm 5 or Vivo U10 for less, we can get the same combination of RAM, storage, or screen resolutions. With the Redmi Note 8, you can get enough power for everyday tasks, a strong battery, and crisp screen. Heavy games doesn't run so well off the high resolution screen. The cameras can be impressive in favorable conditions, but there's a limit but that should be expect. Finally, the phone styling must be a bit divisive, even as the over package looks hard to beat in terms of the value. However, when stepping up to the higher priced variant, there are other options, including the Vivo Z1 Pro and even the Xiaomi Mi A3 to consider. These options just don't have much RAM or storage at the price, but could get the performance better and style and software or the cameras, depending on which one you choose. The choice isn't as clear in favor of the Redmi Note 8. And this was a review of all new Redmi Note 8. The end. Bye. Thanks for watching.